Do you think it's realistic to arrest the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, and the former Defense Minister, Yoav Gallant?
It is possible. You just need countries to be compliant with the international law. There is a warrant of arrest being issued, and everybody else, especially those who are signatories, they've got a duty to make sure that he is arrested.
How would you combat sanctions that would come as a result of your aligning yourself with Russia? The US would come in, the EU would come in with sanctions. How would you combat? How would you deal with it?
Well, there are alternative markets now. The Russians were able to combat those sanctions that were imposed on them. Russian economy grew under the sanctions. So we are happy that the world is becoming a multipolar type of world where if this markets close, other markets will open alternative. I mean, China is there. We are in the BRICS community. If Europe close, if America close, we can look at in the BRICS communities as to which ones can they take our products. We can produce for ourselves, feed ourselves, and produce for the continent as well, because it's not necessarily entirely correct that its influence will be to an extent that even our neighboring countries will be unable to trade with us. We cannot allow America to continue to violate all of us on the basis that they've got the power to impose sanctions on us. That is political dictatorship. That if you don't agree with me, I'm going to use a big brother stick to silence you.
What would you say to the economic dependence of South Africa on Western states today?
No, its dependence on those other Western states, it is a current affairs matter now. They are working those relations now. When they are threatened, you shift those interests into alternative interests, because whatever we are exchanging with the West doesn't mean we can't exchange it with other countries. There are many other countries. And as you are about to engage in a support of Russia, you should also know that there will be consequences. And how do you combat those? You start preparing alternative markets and even improving your trading relations with Russia itself.
Do you think countries within Africa have enough strength and resources to be able to free themselves from Western neo-colonialism?
Actually, the African countries are what is holding this world together. Without the African resources, these people will not be what they are. I mean, there will not be a country called France if there was no Africa. France, it is what it is because of the exploitation of the mineral resources of Africa. And therefore, imagine if our minerals can do for other people's countries, how much those minerals can do for us. So we must make sure that we nationalize our land. It's owned by African states. We nationalize our resources and we use those resources, natural and mineral resources, to exchange amongst ourselves and trade freely to grow the African economy. It is not, of course, we are now in the globalized world where we need each other, but it doesn't mean Africa without these people will die. Africa existed without them.